Wow. Good morning, good day, night, holiday, whatever the case may be. Mr. Gatekeeper here, Northeast Georgia. And what you are looking at here is probably the most modified Texas Star AM modulator that I personally have ever seen. The mods that has now been done to this amp, I have actually had it on my mind and have been wanting to try it out for a while now, and thanks to a very cool customer, I was able to. You know, all us hobbyists, man, we all got a big list, or at least a decent sized list of things we would love to try, but time keeps us from trying all of them, and this was one of them. What you're looking at here is a Texas Star AM modulator, an Amarillo AM modulator. Well, you can scratch that, or at least add 3 more words to that now, or 3 more letters. This is now an AM / Ssb modulator. You heard that right. Now I've always added Ssb delays in these things. Actually, I do that by default for an automatic sideband, but I have never actually AB biased. Literally AB biased one of these jokers. But now this is a Texas Star modulator, C biased with an AB option. Now, whenever y'all hear me say C biased with an AB option, that means with the switch off and everything on, it's class C by default. The second that you flip this switch on, it is then AB biased and then has an Ssb delay. Now, I was thinking about having that Ssb delay for AM and Ssb. I know I've came into some problems sometimes when you're running a final box with an automatic sideband delay, and then your driver as well has automatic sideband delay. A lot of times you have to up your dead key a little bit more than you might want to get them both to key. So I no longer make drivers with automatic sideband delays unless it's just absolutely asked to be. So this is an optional Ssb delay. Well, not optional completely, just whenever you go to the AB section. Okay, let's pull the paper out. This is amp number 2 from a 2-amp project for my good buddy, one of my best customers I ever had, Mr. Hilario. I'm sorry I don't know, pronounce that name right. Make sure to cover up your address. Hilario. Alright. For the Texas Star, need power wires replaced. Keeps turning off. I have to wiggle it to power up. Okay, the reason that was, buddy, you notice how the wires were snaked together and had some heat shrink on it? It looked like it was done pretty well, but pretty much right there where that heat shrink was, the wires were not connected but by just a few strands. So that's why you were having to wiggle it and everything and all that good stuff. Needs more power. Well, buddy, this thing has more power now. I was thinking about doing a 2879 switch out. The main reason I didn't is the AB biasing portion of it was taking me so long, because I have never done one of these before for this particular amp. I had to actually redesign my personal AB bias circuit that I use, because I really couldn't fit the size resistor I normally use, which is a 10 watt resistor. So I had to change some stuff up, do some testing, and you know we're really time sensitive with this because I've had these amps for a good little while, which I highly apologize for. So, but the good thing about it, brother, is I was able, after retuning the input, and actually I didn't have to retune the output, but retuning the input alone and just the other little small things I did, this thing is doing at least 50 more watts than it was doing. I think I was only getting like 60 peak, maybe 70 peak out of it. Okay. Alright, if possible to make A, B, C. If not, keep it C. Well, brother, it is A, B, and C now. Need a fan on top. What we went ahead and did is added you 2 fans on the bottom, as you can see. I'll show that to you after we get done. And I will go ahead and let you know, brother, I pulled out every fan I had. Tried every combination I had, and it's just the way that these the fins are spaced apart on these modulators. It makes it real hard for the screws to get on there. I even thought about trying, if I had another top, I was even going to attempt to take another top and mount it on the bottom with some feet and just mount the fans on that top. I had to get some thin fans, but I didn't have another top. But basically, I got you 2 fans added on there. They're a little noisy. I will admit they're a little noisy. You know, that's just, I guess you had to pay a little price. I did the best I could for you, my friend. That's all I can do. We got you some decent air going through that heat sink now. And, you know, I guess if it's a big issue with the noise, I don't know where you're going to be running the amp. If you're going to be running the amp in the back, like of a trunk or something, man, you're fine. But it ain't real noisy. I'm just saying you can just kind of hear some noise from the fans. And here you go again, man. Whatever you think can be done to make this amp awesome. Well, that pretty much wide-banded it right there. Alrighty. So, after studying the amplifier and drawing a schematic and basically utilizing and using what was in front of me, I got you hooked up here, bud. Alright, there was a variable on here. I don't know who put it on here, but there was a 2-watt 100 ohm variable, the same variable that we pretty much use for our Class C boxes and whatnot, our homebrew boxes we do. And it looked fairly new to me. It had some tape around it. Well, the problem with that was the variable was sitting down on the board right here. And I mean, as far as I know, though, it wasn't shorting anything out. And what it was touching was this lead right here, this whole trace right here that goes to that leg and goes up here and there. It was not touching this back trace, thank God, but it was making contact with this trace. I don't think that trace is even touching anything in this version of this amp, but there was something wrong with the variable. It was not going down. Basically, it wasn't. It's supposed to go down to about virtually 0 ohms up to virtually 100 ohms, and they're usually a 10%. And it just didn't have that range. It was going down to like 30 or 40 ohms at the least. So that was choking your power. Even when you turn that variable all the way up, it still had 30 or 40 ohms worth of resistance in series with the RF. So that was choking your power a little bit, man. So what I went ahead and did is put you a brand new 250 ohm variable. That's actually what comes with this. I would just call putting a 100 ohm variable on there, but I'm actually out of them. I don't have any more Texas Star 100 ohm variables. But like I said, I just put it back factory. The schematics calls for a 250. That's what I put on there for you. I replaced those wires, those bare wires. I don't really like them much. I like to use some good insulated Teflon if able. Put you a blue LED, as you can see there. Out here on the back, I've replaced the bare wires right here on the back with some heavier gauge Teflon. Okay. These center conductors were wiggly. You find that with about every Texas Star from this this year usually. What I went ahead and did is put some real good strong glue on there like I usually do. I just like to keep that center conductor still, okay? I don't want that thing wiggling over time because that will break loose. I've had them come out the other end. I've had them push through. Basically, I just stiffened that up, man. It's going to give that a lot more years of life there, okay? I got some current limiting on the fans just in case you hook it up to a power supply. I did a little mathematics, little Ohm's law formula, and basically you can put it to about 16.5 volts, which, you know, I don't see you running in no higher than that or even that high, but the fans will still be protected up to that point, okay? I went ahead and replaced a component or two in the keying circuit section as well. Put you some good power wire on here, good zip cord, some real good 10 gauge wire on there for you, bud. Let's see here. I had to do some reconstruction to the input transformer. I wish I could. I might actually, if I can, add a picture and show you what this looked like before I got started good. Basically, if you remember, if anybody knows on these Texas Stars, these transformers right here are hiked up, okay? They're hiked up, and they're sitting on this corner and this corner right here. And on this trace right here, usually on a lot of Texas Stars, you'll see a choke that goes from here to ground or something like that. And I was always curious, you know, with this being hiked up like that, with having that right there on the base of the transistor, and then this right here hiked up on this trace, and the other two traces are sitting in the air, with this right here shunted to the ground with the 1800 picofarad cap. I always wondered if this right here was going to ground, you know, with the C bias. And guess what? It wasn't. So that was something real unique that I learned about a Texas Star modulator that I did not know. The only thing that's grounding this transformer to ground is this 10 ohm. Now that was pretty unique. I thought that it was going straight to ground like a normal Class C would, but it actually isn't. Maybe it's just got something to do with their design, but I tell you what, man, we sure do got it going to ground now with this with the way that I've set all this up. But what I did is went ahead and did some modifications to the transformer and set this flat, as you see here. And the reason I had to do that is because I had to get this voltage to the back of this, okay, for the AB bias voltage, and I could not have it sitting on there because, like I said, I didn't know if that was ground or not. Now I know in the future I can utilize this trace if need be and just leave it the way it is and just utilize everything right here and send the voltage and ground to here through a choke like we got right here. All right, let me go ahead and show you. As you can see, I won't get deep into how I set everything up and utilize some of the traces that were not being used, but I had to change my AB bias circuit a little bit, okay? We're utilizing now with a 39 ohm resistor, which is one of Texas Star's resistors they use on their feedback circuits. You probably recognize that by looking at that. And so I went, you know, utilizing and using that rather than what I normally use. You know, we're dealing with a type of voltage divide type clamping diode circuit here for the AB bias in a sense. So I had to play around a little bit and come up with a couple of values, because basically we're wanting this transistor to be right there at cut on for the angle of conduction. So meaning it takes 0.68 to 0.7 volts to turn this transistor on. So when you key that mic, we want exactly 0.68 to 0.7 volts going to that transistor. Roughly, I try to get it exactly at 0.68 if able. And we are dealing with an unregulated AB circuit, so I've got to get them values just right when doing that. So what I did is, as you see, we are sitting at 15.3 volts. And I don't see you running that much higher than that with this. So what I went ahead and did is pretty much tune the bias circuit to that voltage. So when it's ran down, it's just going to go down just a little bit, but keep it in good, safe operation. So I'm going to go ahead and show that to you now. That's what all these leads are here. We got the ground right here, and this lead right here is touching right here past the choke right here, which is the back of this transformer, which is the base of the transistor. So we're going to show you the bias voltage. I always like doing this when it's something custom like this, just so you can see. Alright, we're going to flip that up for AB bias enable. Okay, and I'm just going to key the mic. Okay, just going to key the mic. .685, beautiful. 0.685 volts. Beautiful. That's exactly what we were wanting. Alrighty. Well, as you can hear how the... We'll go ahead and get this right here unhooked. Let's go ahead and turn this back off real quick. Get all these leads right here unhooked real carefully. Don't want to short nothing out. Alrighty. Alright. Alright, first we're going to show you the output, and then we'll go over and let you hear the Ssb delay on it. The only reason I'm going to do that is because this amp is normally not Ssb delay enabled. So I just want to let you hear that working. Alright, now I really don't plan on hitting it with a hot radio. I'm thinking we're just going to run the regular 4 watts in. And I'm very happy with the results that I'm getting on this. I really am. You'll hear me say I'm happy a lot, but I'm very happy with this. It's just performing very nicely. Very nicely. Okay. Alright, looks like we're good. We'll flip on. We'll just stay in Class C. You know what? We'll run it halfway up first. Okay, we're on the 1000 watt slug. The light's on, y'all. You got to bear with me here. I got the light on by accident. 1000 watt slug. Let's see if I can get that. There we go. 1000 watt slug. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That looks like maybe about 10 watts RMS. Let's turn it all the way up. Oh yeah, that's a lot more like it. That's right there, about 40, 50 watts RMS. Oh yeah. Alright, let's show you the input tune. 10 watt slug in reverse. This is what I had to retune. I had about, I would say, 0.8 of a watt when it first started, which was a little high. I didn't really want it that high. Oh yeah. Now look at that right there. Beautiful. Oh yeah. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Alright, let's switch over to PEP. PEP is on. Now watch this. Oh yeah. Yes sir. That 2290 is doing over 100 watts PEP. And that is beautiful. That is beautiful. About 120 to 130 watts PEP, which is very nice. Like I said, it was only doing about 60 or 70, but it was being choked by the variable that we're on there. And I just went ahead and threw that variable away. I don't like to keep stuff I'm not sure about, even to reuse in a repair, even a repair for my own. You know, if it's iffy, I like to throw it away. It's a good, nice, low dead key. Oh, yeah. Alright, right there was ranking at about 130. It might even close to 140 watts, and that's with a bird, so that is amazing. We'll flip up AB. Probably a little less, not much. Yeah. So on the AB, you're looking at about 100. 110. It's going to be a little less on the AB normally. Okay, and we're utilized at 14.3 volts, and I meant to turn that off. That thing's on a battery. Alrighty. Very impressive. I like that. Those are actually the kind of numbers that I would see out of a 2879. That's a good non-dot 2290. Good high gain. 1 second. This thing's really